It's Tuesday afternoon where I live, and that can only mean one thing. Top 10 Tuesdays. Hi, I'm Linda. This is Linda's World. This is Top 10 Tuesdays, and we're going a little bit lighter today. You see, the past couple of videos on my channel have been a little bit dark, a little dramatic, hopefully informative, but I think that since we're all stuck at home for an unspecified amount of time, we could all use a good laugh. So that's why this week's topic is Top 10 Comedy Movies, guaranteed to lift me out of a funk, as I'm sure they will do for you. So if you'd like to know my top 10 comedy picks of all time, well, stay tuned because that list starts right now. Our list of comedy movies begins in just a moment. But first, I'd like to issue a little bit of, not an apology, but an explanation of what I'm wearing. You see, this is my Neil Diamond's 50th anniversary concert tee, and it was what was clean this morning when I opened the t-shirt drawer to look for something to put on. Those of us who aren't fortunate enough to have laundry facilities in our homes or apartment buildings or whatever are feeling the pain. Laundromats, understandably so, are limiting the amount of customers that can go in at a certain time. And tremendous shout out to my mother, who is going to let me use her washer and dryer on Saturday in Staten Island in exchange for giving her all the toilet paper I could find here in Brooklyn. So, rock on. Okay, now here comes the list. Now, it's not that these are my favorite movies or anything. I mean, they kind of are. I mean, a lot of them are. But these are movies that I took a look at my DVD list. You know, I opened up the cabinet and I looked at my DVDs. Yes, I'm 43. I still own DVDs. I even own VHS. But that's a whole other video. So I took a look and I said, well, what are the 10 movies that are guaranteed to put a smile on your face no matter what is going on in the world around you? And here's what I came up with. Okay, I highly recommend that if you were in need of a laugh, you go ahead and find these movies because, you know, they're funny. Okay, so number 10 is a really unorthodox pick, and I think the only person I've ever met in my life who also has seen this movie is my brother, because we watched it together. And the movie is called Drowning Mona. Yeah. It is an unspecified time. I want to say it's about 1990 or 91 or so. The movie was filmed in 2000. It's actually the second DVD I ever bought ever. So what happens is Danny DeVito is kind of a police officer in a very, very small town, this town of Verplanck, New York, that made the Yugo, right? Young people, Google what that is. And so Neve Campbell is in it, and Bette Midler is in it, and Casey Affleck before he was famous and whatever. And so it's just this little small town, and his daughter, Neve Campbell, is getting married to Casey Affleck, and he has to investigate this supposed murder. You see, Mona, Bette Midler, one of the nastiest, cruelest, meanest, like just asshole women on the planet, has gone over the edge of a cliff because her brakes failed, right? And it's a matter of, was it an accident? Did someone cut her brakes? And what about her son? And how is that involved with Casey Affleck? And why is it important that he's marrying Neve Campbell? And it's just absolutely brilliant. And her life and why everybody wanted to kill her is like played out in the series of flashbacks. And Jamie Lee Curtis is involved. And oh my God, it's hilarious. These people are, like, you watch this movie and not only do you laugh, but you go, thank God I don't live with these people. You know, I'm glad I don't live in Verplanck, New York, driving a Yugo and talking to these guys. And apologies if you're from Verplanck, New York, of course. And of course it's fiction. And it's just gosh darn funny. And the soundtrack kicks ass because it's filled with songs by Three Dog Night. Holy cow. All right. Number 9's got Bette Midler in it too. And you're going to notice her appear a little on these these titles because, well, I love Bette Midler. So in any case, the movie in question is number 9, and it is Big Business. Okay. Now, in 1988, the following happened. Lily Tomlin and Bette Midler are sisters, and they're huge, rich corporate executives, and they're twins. But the thing is that we don't realize that in the first minute or two of the movie, they show their birth in the 1940s when their very rich parents had to stop at the nearest local hospital in some podunk town with like one stoplight and give birth to twins there, while another lady was giving birth to twins. Of course, you could see the mix-up that is to ensue, in which case we have Rose and Sadie, wealthy, Rose and Sadie from the farm, and they all converge on New York City for a specific topic, and it is just hilarious. And Lily Tomlin, I love her because of not just Grace and Frankie, which I talk about a lot, but like she's just a priceless, beautiful comedian, and she just turned 80, and I can't even tell you how much I appreciate and love Lily Tomlin, and you will die laughing. It is brilliant, and one of my favorite songs ever is in the movie Higher Love by Steve Winwood. So check it out, big business. You'll die. Not really, you'll laugh. Okay, all right. I've got a real classic for you, a classic grade A comedy coming for number 8. Number 8 is a Mel Brooks movie by the name of Blazing Saddles. Okay, Blazing Saddles could never be made today because Blazing Saddles is so racially and sexually inappropriate, but in a respectful manner, if that's possible. It's people of different races poking fun at themselves. So like, it's not like, it's done to be tongue-in-cheek, and it's done satirically, and it's done the right way. And it tells the story of Mr. Cleavon Little, who is a 1970s actor who appeared in many TV programs, including All in the Family, and Gene Wilder, his sidekick, who is effing brilliant. I mean, it's Gene Wilder. It's Willy Wonka, for God's sake. And he becomes almost like kind of like as a dare, as a weird twist, the sheriff of this small town filled with people who are white. OMG, okay? And the inside jokes and the angry townspeople and the stereotypical jokes about the Old West, and the scene where everyone eats beans around a campfire and things occur because they've eaten a lot of beans. I mean, there's highbrow humor, there's lowbrow humor, and there's a medium. There's things that a person may deem racial inappropriate from today's standards, but not in general. And it's just, I could cry. Like, it's a brilliant piece of art, and it's Blazing Saddles, and it's number 8. Okay. Number 7 is Goofy as All Hell. It is a classic. I was 3 the first time I saw it, and I'm so happy I get the jokes now. And number 7 is Airplane. Yes. Now, those of you old enough to remember all those airport movies from the 1970s where they were some kind of crash disaster thing, well, it spoofs that, okay? And it's the Abrams Zucker comedy team, who they're sort of like the Farley brothers. They're brilliant, and they make beautiful slapstick and tongue-in-cheek humor, and it is a spoof on what happens when there's a crashing plane. Leslie Nielsen of The Naked Gun is in it. He's brilliant as well. Julie Haggerty, who appears again on our list soon, is absolutely fantastic, and it's just a lovely, lovely thing. You see all of the pilots around, and all the passengers are getting sick because they ate some poisoned fish for dinner, and it just takes off from there. And there's some hilarious flashbacks, and yeah, inside references, and oh my god, just so darn good I could cry. Airplane is a classic, and it belongs on our list at number 7. Number 6 is very new. It's a lot more contemporary than some of the things I've listed so far. And number 6 is Superbad. I said it. I love Superbad. I could watch, there was a time when it was on Comedy Central all night, they showed it 4 times, and I sat through it and I watched it 4 times. It is priceless. And Jonah Hill, in one of his first roles, before he became Jonah Hill, before he became famous for The Wolf of Wall Street or Moneyball or whatever, he and Michael Cera are teen guys about to graduate from high school, and they are charged with getting liquor for a party from a girl who's throwing a party because her parents are out of town, Emma Stone, before she was famous. And of course, he likes this girl and wants to get with her. Michael Cera has a girl he likes that he wants to get with as well. And the simple act of retrieving liquor with a fake ID from the liquor store leads to an evening of ridiculous hijinks, not the least of which is with Bill Hader, okay, and Seth Rogen as befuddled police officers. And the jokes, my God, it's just for example, I'll give you a tidbit. I can't help it. I try to not make references because I don't like to do spoilers, but holy cow. Okay, at one point, Jonah Hill needs new clothing to go to the party for, but he can't go home, so he's borrowing his friend's, but he's heavier than his friend, and he's trying to, put on the clothing, and he's like, do you have any bigger clothes, or do you only shop at Baby Gap? I was on the floor. Just the line, whoever, my God, it's just, the writing is brilliant, and I can't sing the praises of Superbad enough, and OMG. And of course, if anyone's ever seen it before, you know what McLovin means. Just saying. All right. So as we're halfway through the list, I would like to say that I really thought hard about this list. There are many crossouts on the little paper that I'm reading from here. And I wanted to put things in their proper place. And there's a couple of things that didn't make the list that are sort of cool. And I mean, I don't know, just like, I did what I could. It's just that I appreciate comedy so much. And I study it in all its forms. And, there's the concept of satirical comedy. There's the concept of slapstick comedy. There's the true straight sitcom. There's, there's just all different forms of using comedy and the correct timing right that just makes certain films that are intended to be comedic stand out above all else. And, that's why I came up with this 10, because I think that they do. Okay, so we're just going to keep on keeping on. Okay, so number 5, I saw for the first time when I was 8, and I got some of the jokes. I'm 43 now, and I get them all, and that movie is Clue. Clue is based on the board game, Professor Plum in the library with the wrench, that sort of thing. And it stars a brilliant cast of people who are just incredible. Tim Curry, Christopher Lloyd, Michael McKean, Leslie Ann Warren, Madeline Kahn, who also appears in Blazing Saddles, by the way. Just a top-notch list of people, and it's got that slapstick, but it's also got that political satire too, because the whole point is that Mr. Buddy has been blackmailing these people in 1954 and called them all to dinner in a big spooky house, and Tim Curry, as Wadsworth the butler, is charged with leading the evening, and the classic board game murder stuff that happens is just insane. Tidbit of humor from the film. It was Professor Plum was outed for what he does for a living, and he says, "You were once a psychiatrist specializing in homicidal lunatics suffering from delusions of grandeur." And he goes, "Well, yeah, now I work for the United Nations." And Wadsworth goes, "Oh, your work has not changed." That's what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. And so a year later, after that movie came out, when I was 9, I was taken to the movie theater to see number 4. And that movie is Ruthless People. To this day, no matter what is wrong, to this day, I will laugh. Ruthless People has got Danny DeVito and Bette Midler reunited. Well, actually, they were reunited in Drowning Mona, because this movie came out in 86. So, Danny DeVito is married to Bette Midler, but he doesn't love her. He hates her. He wants to kill her. But he comes home to go kill her and finds she's been kidnapped. And she's been kidnapped by these people that he supposedly screwed over in a business deal a long time ago. And he doesn't want her back. They called, they're like, "Your wife is here. We want you. You got to give her ransom." And he's like, "But no, I'm not gonna, because I don't want her." But then when it looks like he may have killed her, he needs her back. Holy cow. Okay, in fact, Bette Midler, wrestling with her kidnappers, gets down to the basement. Her gag gets taken off of her face, and the first thing she says is, "You fucked with the wrong person. My husband does business with the mafia." I can't even tell you, okay? I'm not going to give the rest away. I'm just going to shut up now, because it's great. Okay. Okay, we're getting down to it. So, number 3, I saw in the theater with my brother. There was only one person in the theater because it was a Wednesday at about 10 at night. It was the dead of winter, and it was 3 degrees that night, but we wanted nachos. So we went to go see Office Space. Literally any human who's ever had a job, okay, will appreciate Office Space in all its glory. The beautiful story of this guy and his 2 friends, one of whom is named Michael Bolton, okay, attempting to defraud their company, Initech, because they feel like they've been treated unfairly, and they're downsizing, and they have efficiency experts and this and that. And the lead character, Peter, is a guy who is kind of he was sort of hypnotized to sort of take everything in stride and like not feel work pressure and just live his life and just be like real chill and mellow about everything, to which of course he starts dating Jennifer Aniston, and his life improves and this and that. And of course they need to try to figure out how to get that money, and it doesn't exactly turn out correctly. And then of course we have Milton, the befuddled old guy who works in the cubicle and is only interested in his red swing line stapler. But if you've never seen the movie before, you don't know what I'm talking about. So go watch it, and you'll understand why the red swing line stapler is so important. All right, then. Movie number 2 is a movie that I saw in the theater with my family 31 years ago. I cannot believe I'm even saying that. The reviews weren't exactly favorable. That's why I don't read reviews, because it was awesome. And those people suck, because number 2 is What About Bob? Yep. Now, What About Bob stars Richard Dreyfuss as a psychiatrist and Bill Murray as Bob, his patient, the last patient he has before he goes on vacation to a lake with his family. His wife is played by Julie Haggerty. He's got a teenage daughter, a little son, and he's going to have a great vacation. Except that before he left the office, he gave Bob a little advice. He told him to take a vacation from his problems. Well, of course, that means Bob winds up with the doctor in Lake Winnipesaukee. And everybody loves Bob, and they don't understand why Dr. Leo Marvin, Richard Dreyfuss, is so dead set against having him around. And, he is a little bit overbearing, but he means well, and he's a cool guy. And he's doing all the right things, and the doctor is messing up, and everyone's liking him more than they're liking the doctor. And the lengths that he goes to get rid of Bob, and the surprise way that it ends in an ironic twist is so brilliant that What About Bob has no place else on the list but to be my second favorite comedy movie of all time. Okay. And the number 1 comedy movie guaranteed to make me laugh no matter what is going down in the universe outside. Easy Money. Oh, Rodney Dangerfield. Oh, I can't even express the fact that I love Rodney Dangerfield so much. I don't even know what to say. Rodney Dangerfield plays Monty Capuletti. It's 1983. He's a Staten Island guy. He works as a baby photographer. He has 2 daughters, one of whom is getting married. And he's got a wife who's a perfectly lovely lady named Rose. And they just are totally cool, except that Rose stands to inherit money from her wealthy old mother, who hates Monty's guts because he drinks and he smokes pot and he gambles. And he's fat and he overeats and this and that. And he's just not the kind of guy that she imagined Rose with. But they love each other and they're fine. So Mom, dies, leaving money to Monty that the family gets all the money, several $1,000,000, if he could reform himself over the course of 1 year. No drinking, no smoking, no drugs, no gambling, no going to the strip club or, all the things he used to do, lose weight, blah, blah, blah. And it is priceless to see him go through this year trying to reform himself for the love of easy money. Okay? And his best friend is played by Joe Pesci, so that's enough to get you going. And that's all I have to say about that. All right. So like I always say, I'm not going to belabor the point any longer. I am just going to say, if you enjoyed what you saw here today, well, then you go right ahead and you get to this list. And if you did not, well, then watch whatever you like. And before you go, I'd just like to remind you to subscribe to Linda's World if you haven't already. And you can do that by hitting the subscribe button below. And also, while you're there, hit the notification bell so you can be alerted when new videos drop to this channel. The next video I'm planning for this week has to do with a movie that is not funny at all. It's a movie called Joker. And it is a movie I saw very recently that very, very deeply affected me and got me to thinking about mental illness and mental health so much that I felt compelled to make a video about it. So I guess stay tuned for that. And I will hopefully catch you in a better mood next time, because you'll have seen all 10 of these movies and you will be crying from laughing instead of wondering what you're going to do with the rest of your time. So I am going to go and I'm going to watch something funny myself, because I think we could all use a good laugh. Right? Okay. See you later.